With a population of about 1,600 year-round residents, Oberhof, Germany is a winter sports center and health resort, and has also been the site of some of the biggest events in winter sports, including several World Luge Championships, even the Biathlon World Championships back in 2023. We're in Oberhof for the second time this season. It's World Cup stop number 7 on the EBERSPA FIL World Cup Tour, located in the geographical center of the nation of Germany. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer. We're getting set for the women's singles competition here on this Oberhof track, officially called the Lotto Thüringen Ice Arena. And right now, I'd like to introduce my co-commentator to help call today's event, a world champion on this track and a 2-time World Cup winner this season from Team Austria, Jonas Müller. Jonas, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tim. It's great to be back in Oberhof.
Always great to have you, and we've got a close look coming up of this track you know so well, so give us a tour.
Yeah, so we're right now in curve 5. Super important the start for the ladies start, and because it's a little bit flat on top, and then now we're in 8. These are the chicanes, 9, 10, super hard. 11, always something. We can expect some action here, I think, and then 13 and down to the straight, head back, and then now we're already in Kreisel, crossing the finish line, and I think we can expect some good racing today.
We will definitely expect some good racing. Oberhof is always good for that. Whether we see fast racing will be determined, because we're going to check out the weather conditions here, and it is warm here in Oberhof today, warmer than we've seen most of this season, nothing comparing to some of the spring-like days we had last year. But the temperature is well above freezing. But as we check out the track records next, Jonas, were you surprised that earlier today there was a track record in women's doubles? A lot of people were not expecting that.
Yeah, I was surprised, because it is really warm. It's been warm all week long, but I just talked to Selina, and she said the track is in really good conditions, and it didn't feel that soft, she told me. So I think, I'm not sure if we will see another track record today, but the track is fast, and yeah, everything is great, I think.
41.901 is the mark to shoot for. As you just saw, that's Switzerland's Natalie Maag, who will be the first to go among the seeded athletes in just a little bit. Start order number 6. As you see right there, Emma Eriksson of the USA leads things off. The first 5 all had to qualify yesterday in the Nations Cup. Then we move into the seeded athletes, which include 4 Austrians. And Madeline Egle, Julia Tobitz, they're battling for the World Cup lead, with Madeline still holding a 14-point advantage. Those two have been on the podium just about every week. Welcome back, Sigita Perzina, her first race of the season for Latvia, as we count them down all the way to Argentina's Veronica Ravenna. Panorama Hotel in the background. That's a fixture here in Oberhof as the last-minute preparations for the athletes. What do you say? I'm putting you on the spot, Jonas. Advantage Julia or advantage Madeline, or there's just no way to know?
I mean, that's a really hard question. Madeline has been sliding really good this season, and Julia too. She had some problems sometimes, but it is her home track, so I think it's going to be very close and very exciting to watch.
That's Austria's Barbara Allmeyer. I love this. I haven't seen this in the past years, these lights. What is this all about? Reaction?
Yeah, this is about reaction. Because, I mean, sometimes you're a little bit off the line in the track, and then you have to react very fast. So that's just preparing for maybe some issues down the track.
Well, a good crowd of luge fans from top to bottom, lining between 13 and 14, of course, the finish area, and here at the start as they watch our first competitor. The United States' Emma Eriksson. Emma with part-time World Cup duty last year. She's been with the national team all of this season so far. She hasn't qualified for every race, but she did qualify yesterday for this one. with a 6th place finish in Nations Cup.
Yeah, the first few years it's always hard to qualify for every race, but it's just to get some experience, and then I'm sure we'll see her in every race the next few years.
2 runs combined time competition. The women's start are the women in the doubles at the same start area on this track?
Yes, here in Oberhof they are at the same start. Yes, you see here, as I said earlier, through 9, 10, and 11, it is really hard, and we saw some small mistakes here.
And then a bigger mistake here in the straightaway to curve number 14. She'll make it down cleanly, but certainly with a little bit of excitement. Now you just heard the public address track announcer. I think that's Willy Vilman. He said many, many, many mistakes.
Yeah, as you can see here, in 10 she was really high too early to 11, and then it is hard to catch the sled again, and yeah, we can see her out of 13 still having problems. But as I said, the first few years it's very important to gain experience, and I'm sure we'll see her the next few years in every race, and yeah.
What we don't know is whether or not we'll see Emma in run number 2. 30 start, but only 20 will qualify for the second heat. Emma Eriksson has twice made it into the second run so far this season. Next up, Tova Kohala. It's been a big breakout year for the Kohala siblings. And Tova finished 5th yesterday in Nations Cup on the same day that her brother won the Nations Cup race.
Good lines here in the upper part of the track, and now we come to the trickier part. Nice lines, very good.
Ooh, that looked like she was on the edge there.
A little bit early to 12, yeah.
Art. Swedish sleds.
Very, very nice. And
really fast. One rehearsed. Rasmus and Svante. Now, are you extra helping with these Swedish sleds?
Yes, exactly. The Swedish team is in. We have kind of a partnership with the Swedish team, and it's great. They're very nice. I like Svante. It's always fun with him. And we're only 400ths off the track record right now. So
it's only a matter of time, right?
I think so, yes.
Well, actually, 30, we have 29 in today's race. Actually, next was Italy's Robacher, but Sandra made a late decision to skip the race and rest her constantly ailing shoulder for the World Championships in 2 weeks. So we move ahead to Dorothea Schwarz. Dorothea, the young of the Austrians, who currently leads the Nations Cup standings. What are her key features? What does Dorothea do well, Jonas?
I mean, her lines are always, since the first training week in Lillehammer, her lines has been really great, and it's fun to watch her race. Very good lines here through this section. A little bit early to 13, but she can handle it well, and straight out of 13, head back, and now we're gonna see the first track record.
Indeed we do, 41.798. Christian is thrilled about that. I'm going out on a limb here and guessing it will not be the last track record, but for the moment, at least for the next 2 minutes, record holder.
Yeah, we saw really, really good lines. There you can see she was a little bit early to 13, but she stayed very calm and very nice sledding.
So Austria in the lead, German getting ready to go at the top, and we actually have one of our viewers on YouTube writing in saying no Hanna Prock, even though she won the Nations Cup yesterday. That's correct. Hanna has been traveling World Cup team for most of the year, although not qualifying for races. She wins World Cup. But Jonas, she's still trying to come back from a back injury, right?
Yeah, right. Right. Hannah has some back problems, and that's why she skipped the first few weeks with the team, and now she's back. She won the Nations Cup yesterday, and I think so. What I heard is the younger Austrians, so Hannah, Barbara, and Dorothea, they will have a qualification race next week in Whistler, and then they will decide who is going for the World Championships.
Okay. Always a competition within the team in Austria. Here's Melina Fischler, 20 years old. Her first full season on the World Cup. She finished in second this Cup race today. Ooh, she's skidding her way in. Did that begin higher up on the track?
Yeah, I saw she was a little bit high in the exit of 11, and it is hard to go back on the perfect line.
Melina out of the Altenburg region. Not too far. We're about a 2-hour drive away from that second of 4 track in Germany. Altenburg, Oberhof, Winterberg, and next year we return to Königssee. Even the German spectators managed to yellow jackets. Now here's the woman who had the track record for the last 3 years until about 5 minutes ago. Switzerland's Natalie Mach, 27 years old, with the Germans.
Yeah, and I think Natalie is also living part-time here in Oberhof. She's training with the training team from Oberhof.
Natalie currently 10th place World Cup standings. Last race here, she had a 9th. Her season 5th in Altenburg, where she won a world championship last year.
She got it back, the track record. So yeah, the track crew did a great job, even though with these warm temperatures, the track is super fast, it's smooth. It's been a good week of sliding here.
And the spectators are starting to show up in a big way. We've got a big crowd on hand here. Jonas Berg, with so many luge fans. And am I right that your parents made a surprise trip to watch you and your brother both end up on the podium?
Yes, exactly. I didn't know they were coming. And then suddenly I was staying in an apartment with Yuri and Ricardo, and then suddenly they were standing in front of our apartment, and that was a big surprise. Yeah,
that's great. Here's the first of the Americans, Ashley Farquharson, 25 years old. Ashley's had some top 5 results this year, 2 of them to be exact, including here in Oberhof last month.
She is already in the green. Yeah, we've seen some really good lines and really good sliding of her this season. It's very exciting.
Right, she was in podium position last week at the race in Winterberg before having a rough second run.
Oh, she was skidding a little bit down into 12. Good out of 13.
This is going to be lucky to be in the top 3 behind Schwartz as she skids across the finish line, 3rd place. So a bit of a rough go for Ashley Farquharson. The sun is out, Jonas, is that how will that affect both the track conditions and the visibility, seeing for the athletes?
So I don't really have a problem with visibility if the sun is out, but we've seen it last week in Winterberg. They put down some sun shields, so maybe we'll see that in a minute, and then just to prevent the track from getting too soft.
I mean, Winterberg last week was unlike any weekend we've ever seen Winterberg.
That's true, yeah. Usually Winterberg is foggy and rainy, but the last week has been just awesome. It's been sunny all week long, and that was really good.
Except for one top 4 finish on her home track in Sigulda, this has been a surprisingly disappointing season for Kendia Apariota of Latvia. She's in 12th place in the World Cup standings, just 2 top 10s, and a season worst 16th place last week in Winterberg.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. But I mean, that belongs to a sports career. Sometimes you have ups and downs, and I'm sure she will get back up again.
That's the nature of the sport. Nicely done out of 13. She sets up for the finishing Kreisel. So the lines were there, Jonas,
yeah,
but the speed wasn't.
The lines were there, the speed wasn't. Maybe the sled setup was just not right for today.
I remember seasons where the Latvian sleds were faster than any nation on the last 6 or 7 curves. First of the Latvians done now. Her teammate Bota still to come, as well as Berzina. Got 4 Germans in today's race, 4 Austrians, 3 Americans. Incidentally, if you're wondering, Emily Sweeney, who is in the top 6 in the World Cup standings, coming off of a podium last week, Emily Sweeney headed home to rest her neck for the World Championships. I'm sure Emily's up early, Jonas, watching from Saranac Lake, New York. Emily, if you are watching, give us a shout out on the YouTube chat. Here's Verena Hofer.
Good start time here. Nice line through it. 8, 9, and 10, 11. Very good.
She falls behind Natalie Mogg. Boy, you were right, Jonas. Natalie does like this track.
I think so, yeah.
Verena in 6th place, despite the fastest start time of the first 8 to go down. Italy's so good in the start. They have that facility in Miranson where they can train year-round. But it seems as if in all of the disciplines of luge, Italy has among the fastest start times.
Yeah, that little start track in Miranson, that is really, really good, and it is fun to. We always go there, or we used to go there once a year for a start competition. That was always really fun.
Does Austria have a summer indoor facility where you all work on your starts?
Yeah, we do have a little start ramp in Innsbruck, just right next to our gym. I think if you want to be on top, you need a start ramp in the summer too, because it is, you can train and everything, but we're still training for what we see right now, the first 5 seconds, and you just need a start ramp, I think.
Barbara Allmeyer opened the season with a 4th place finish in Lillehammer, and she has been pretty consistent this season. 7th last week in Winterberg, and currently in the top 8 in the World Cup standings.
Yeah, this is her first full season with the seniors, and she's doing a really good job. Now we started too early on 11. Too early to 13. Oh, now we see the walls.
Disappointing as she puts it together across the finish, but a half second in back. So Natalie Mogg continues to lead the way over Dorothea Schwartz and Ashley Farquharson as we're well into the seeded group now. That was one of her rougher runs of the season, Jonas.
That was, yeah, unfortunately. But as I said, her first season, or first full season with the seniors, it's always hard, and she's doing a really good job overall.
Yeah, things happen quickly out of 13.
We see parents of Thomas Stoy.
Nice. Shrug of the shoulders, regroup, and get ready for run number 2. Top 20 will qualify. I'm guessing we will see Barbara. Here's Summer Britcher, a 5-time World Cup winner during her career. Summer has had top 10 results in most of the races this year, but her poorest showing was here in Oberhof last month, where she had a 14th place. Certain lugers love certain tracks, and Summer loves the North American ones and Lillehammer. What's your favorite track?
I think it is Oberhof. Oberhof, and I do like Winterberg too. Too high in the exit of 11.
Speed of 69.4. That's quite a bit below, among the slowest speeds we've seen in its 9th place. In fact, that's the second slowest speed of all of the top 10. The only slower sled, Jonas, was her teammate Emma Eriksson, 67.3. So that must be a little bit concerning for the American technical coaching staff.
I mean, we see some problems here, but those problems weren't too big, so maybe they have to change something for the second run.
Summer's teammate Ashley Farquharson still in the top 3 at the moment, but now we have the front runners, the super seed, the top 6 based on their performances over the past 3 races. And here is Lisa Schulte. Lisa, for 1 week, held the World Cup lead. She still holds the World Championship title, at least for another couple of weeks. And now on course, here she is, 24-year-old Lisa Schulte from Mieders, Austria.
Yeah, and since she won the World Championship last year, she's been sliding very good, and she's always in the top, I don't know, top 5, I think. So sometimes top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, she's actually been in the top 4 in every race.
Yeah.
She's a world champion. The only thing she hasn't done is win a World Cup race yet.
That is true, yeah. But sometimes a World Championship medal like that can give you a little push, and then it's like, I've experienced the same thing. You're in a flow and it's fun to slide.
That was very tight. So for a moment, Schulte and Mogg were tied to the 1,000th of a second. The Austrian briefly went into the green, but as you see there, she falls behind by about 700ths behind Natalie Mogg. Natalie had a good run.
Natalie had a really, really good run. Yeah, that's true. Nice exit out of 13.
Now the last of the Austrians getting ready. Lisa's teammate. Lisa's currently in 3rd place in the World Cup standings, but in 1st place is Madeleine Aigle. Madeleine with 3 victories this season, including a win in December, a month ago here in Oberhof. If you're keeping score, she has 15 career World Cup victories now, and she's usually fast here at the start.
She is a very good starter, yeah. And we have a track record, start record.
Start
now.
record. Betters her own start record.
And she's well ahead now.
500s. 500s fastest.
Wow,
faster, Jonas. Crushed it.
A little bit high in the end of 11. But she's well ahead, 2300 still. Losing a little bit. But I think she's going to stay in the green.
Madeline's advantage was as much as a quarter of a second. She lost a tenth of a second to Mog down at the bottom of the track, but moves into the lead with a track record of 41.505. So that's the double, the start record and the track record.
Well, that's a pretty good first run. Start record and track record.
Jonas, you grew up with Madeline and Selena in the sport. Could you ever see this coming, how amazing the two of them have been?
So I was on the junior team with Madeline more than Selena. But Madeline she's working hard, she's motivated, she's a great athlete. And her sliding is improved a lot since the juniors, and I mean that's the result of hard work, and yeah.
That's great. In the lead for the time being, but last week the winner was Julia Tobitz of Germany for the 30th time in her career, as Julia broke out of a bit of a mini slump. Very un-Julia. The previous 2 weekends she finished 9th in Sigulda and 10th right at home in Altenburg. So that was a big breakout last week rather. And now the 28-year-old from Annenberg, who makes her home now here in Oberhof on course. She'll give away a little at the start.
1400s behind.
Losing time.
Losing time. Madeline had some problems here out of 11, so maybe she's gonna catch up some time. Now we're gonna see. Yes, she does a little bit.
So this should be a top 3, possibly a top 2 with that Julia speed down at the bottom. Second place right now. 1800s behind Egla, only 300ths of a second behind Natalie Mog. You think she has a few friends here?
I think so, yes. I'm looking out of the window here and I see the fan club of Julia with all the green jackets.
Julia even smiles at the start. Norbert Locke, longtime coach of Julia and the German national team on hand, recently retired but still enjoying the luge action. We're about midway through this race and winding it down among the seated athletes. Here is Latvia's Alina Bota, 24 years old, a 3-time winner on the World Cup, including a win on her home track last month in Sigulda. But the rest of her results have been pretty much right around 10th, 11th, 12th place.
Second best start time here.
She's always very fast at the start.
Good lines out of through the middle section here.
Second fastest time, but not a great line there, was it?
It wasn't, but she did a great job, and the sled didn't hit the wall too hard. 4/10 behind now.
Skidding her way across the finish line in 6th place, about 100th of a second up on the USA's Ashley Farquharson, as Madeleine Egla of Austria continues to lead.
Yeah, you can see how important the start time is, because Madeline is in front now because of her great start time in the first run.
Some tracks, the start time means more than others. In the sports of bobsled and skeleton, it seems to mean a lot more than it does in luge.
Yeah.
Here's Mirla Frabel, the third of four Germans, with her teammate Anna Bierreiter getting ready at the top. Mirla from right here in Oberhof, actually grew up in the nearby city of Zuhl, still just 21 years old, but she has a World Cup victory. She, of course, does well on this track. She finished fourth at the last World Cup here.
Yeah, she knows the track very well.
She's actually been in the top 5 in all but one race this year. That's a nice exit.
Picking up some speed now. I think that's gonna be
This could be second place. Fourth. So it's very tight, actually. Everyone trailing Madeline by a pretty wide margin, but then you have, let's see, about 1,400 separating second from sixth place right now.
It is very close, yeah.
I think it was last week in Winterberg where the top 3 were separated by 7/1000ths of a second after the first run.
Yeah, sometimes it is. It can be frustrating when you're just like 7/1000ths behind, and you know exactly where you lost that. But that's the sport. That makes it exciting.
Austria in first, then Switzerland, and followed by a pair of Germans, and the final seeded athlete getting ready at the top now, Anna Bierreiter. 2 weeks ago, Anna had her first and only podium of the season. That was a third place finish, or a second rather, in Altenburg. And she says here in Oberhof, it's all about testing for the World Championships. She'll continue to do her best, but she doesn't do well at the start here. And let's see, that start time, not bad though, fourth place finish. She said she doesn't do that well at the start, but
Nice
Anna she was the world champion, wasn't she, on this track in 2023?
That is a good question. I think so, yes.
Wow, nice line here. Oh, a little bit of a tap. Yeah, that's a case, Jonas, of little mistakes adding up, right?
That is true, yeah. And also, I think she was 1,200 behind at the start, so it's just the speed you're missing at the start, you can't really catch up anymore. So that's why the start is so important in luge.
Yeah, right here, just the sled carried a little too far. All right, a smile and away from Anna Bierreiter. She will be safely in the top 20. As we check out the standings, you won't see these visually, but I'll give you the quick update. Seeded group done. Egla of Austria leading the way. In fact, there are 3 Austrians and 3 Germans making up 6 of the top 7, with Switzerland's Natalie Mogg in second place. But we have 13 remaining here in the race, and this is Ukraine's Yuliana Tunitska, 21 years old. Jonas, with Yuliana, she still has some growing to do, but when she's on, she's very good.
Yeah, she's very good. I saw her winning the Junior World Championships in Bludenz, I think 2 years ago. And she's showing us really good lines right now. Very smooth.
Yuliana from the city of Kremenets in Ukraine. She just has a small tap into 14. 16th. That could hold and earn her a second run. She missed the second run last time here in Oberhof by 2 spots. One thing she'll remember, of course, Jonas, that she'll never forget is she was on a World Cup podium this year in Sigulda.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah, that was exciting to see the Ukrainian team.
Team relay. They were one of 3 nations that actually finished the race, so they earned a bronze medal.
It was a tough race, but I think everybody was super happy for the Ukrainian team to be on the podium.
Definitely. Claudia Domalacka of Poland up next. Claudia in 19th place in the World Cup standings. She's had 1 top 20 this year, a 16th place finish in Altenburg. That clearly is the goal, to end up in the top 20. This is her favorite track because she says she feels the best flow from top to bottom.
That's exactly what I feel too here in Oberhof. The rhythm of the track and the flow, it's really fun to slide here.
Half second back at the moment. She's on her way to perhaps 16th or 17th place. Pretty clean lines rather, not a lot of speed. 17th. You think they practiced that dance?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Oh, I've seen nice lines here. Maybe the experience is not that high, and also the sled work. Like the bigger nations, they have just more money to spend and also more experience.
Three from Canada in today's first run of women's singles, Oberhof, Germany. I'm Tim Singer, along with World Luge champion Jonas Müller. And here's Trinity Ellis, 22 years old. She lives not too far from Whistler in Pemberton, British Columbia. And will be hosting the World Championships in 2 weeks. What do you know and what do you like about that track in Whistler, Jonas?
I mean, in general, Whistler, the town is really cool. It's always fun to be there. And also the track. For us, man, it's really flat on top, so the start is super important, which helps me. But then from curve 10 down to the finish, it is steep and it is super fast. It's very fun to slide there. It's always super smooth there, so that's always nice for us. So there are not real bumps in the track, and yeah, it's just a very nice feeling to go down a track that's so smooth.
A 42.230 for Trinity Ellis. That puts her at the moment in 15th place and in pretty good position to make it into run number 2. At least a couple of Canadians will. Canada was not able to field entries into the mixed singles and mixed doubles in Lillehammer, but they've got a full group of athletes here. Actually, I'm not sure about doubles. The young women's doubles teams from Canada did not come to Oberhof, but we will see them in mixed singles. Well, welcome back to the World Cup Tour to this woman, Sigita Bergina. Finished 12th in the World Cup overall standings each of the past 2 seasons, but this is her debut this year for the 24-year-old. I'm not sure, Jonas, where she's been the first half, whether it was an injury or just other things.
So I think she retired, but then she worked as a coach in Sigulda, and then I guess she I don't know, her fingers started to, she just wanted to go back on the track again, I think.
Maybe she felt like she could compete pretty closely with Candia and Alina.
Yeah. Good lines here.
This could be a 17th or 18th place as well. Latvian sleds have not shown impressive speed down below.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe they just thought the ice is softer, or maybe we see them improve in the second run.
Yeah, right now they sit in 8th, 11th, and 18th place. And sometimes it's a nationwide thing, but you know, we certainly expect Bots and Pluma to be fast later today, and Krister Zapriots has been pretty good all season long. It's just been and women's doubles, so it's just been the women's singles for Latvia. Last minute adjustment of the shield for Karina Buzatoy of Romania, 23 years old, from the town of Campina. Top 10 finisher at last year's World Championships in the under 23 category. It's a random number, Jonas, 23. Do you have any idea why they picked that one?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea.
I didn't think you did, yeah.
But also, I didn't really think about that. But it is a random number, yeah.
I mean, when Felix was winning full world championships at age 20, it makes you wonder about the 23.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes I think it is important for nations to get funding, I think. And
oh, okay, yeah, that's a great point.
If you have results, or if you have medals in under 23, then it always sounds good and looks good. So I think it's for funding.
Yeah, that's a great point. Karina avoided what could have been bigger disaster between 13 and 14 with a quick correction. That's a case of where you don't want to make an overcorrection, right, Jonas? You just want to let the sled do its thing and not overreact.
That's true. Sometimes you have to let the sled just go and don't overreact, because sometimes if you want to make it better, sometimes you can make it worse. So you just want to let it go.
Nina Zugla, ranked 18th in the World Cup standings, and that's basically where she's consistently finished this season. She has 3 18th place finishes, 1 19th place finish. So she'll be hovering near that top 20, hoping to make it into the second run.
She's already 4/10 behind here.
Well, the start time was slow. 22nd place, yeah. That's a bit of a surprise.
Good lines here, but if you're at the start behind, it's so hard to make up for it.
There's Sandra Robacha, as we said earlier. Sandra, coming off of a big finish yesterday in Nations Cup, chose not to race today due to an ongoing shoulder injury. So Verena Hoffa will be the only Italian in run number 2. Well, the Italian teammates, fans watching the action as the second of the 3 from Canada get ready at the start. This is Ember Lee Susko, still just 19 years old, has been bouncing back and forth between juniors and seniors over the past couple of years. Of note, Jonas, at the World Cup last year in Whistler, she had a top 10 finish.
Oh, wow. Yeah, our home track. I think they also spend a lot of time this season training there, so I think they're ready to race and to host the World Championships this year.
All of the athletes in this sport spend a lot of their summer in physical training, try to work on their starts. Although, Jonas, if I remember, you told me you spent last summer in California?
I did, yeah. We're gonna do that. Oh, we see big skid here into the Chrysler.
Emberly makes it across the finish, but with issues down at the bottom, and that will put a quick end to her day for Team Canada as she'll head home to the World Championships. What was going on in California?
Yeah, I met my girlfriend in Whistler a few years ago, and she is from Seattle, so this year I'm gonna spend a few weeks in Seattle with her. And yeah, maybe we go down to California again. It's always
great.
It's always nice after the season.
And do you feel removed, though, when you're spending time so far away from Bludenz and Innsbruck, and you've got to sort of be on your own to train, right?
That's true, yeah, that's true. But so my coaches, they always hand me a schedule each week, and then I train on my own. But the last few years, it worked out really good, and yeah. My girlfriend actually surprised me too last week in Winterberg. I didn't know she was coming too.
Very nice. Well, you guys put up. You and Yannick put up with the family and friends on here.
Yeah.
Peixiang Wang. She's looking for her first top 20. The best she's been able to manage so far this season for the Chinese team is a 25th place finish. She's done that twice. She really had a rough race. In fact, a crash here the last time we were in Oberhof. Last year, they picked 3 spots to host 2 races. This is the only spot this year, the only place with 2 races. You wouldn't mind having 2 races in Innsbruck in a season, would you?
No, I wouldn't mind that at all. But also here in Oberhof, I don't mind that at all.
That's true.
I feel very comfortable here in Oberhof and Innsbruck too, yeah.
Peixiang Wang will be looking at a 24 down here. 22nd, found a little time down at the bottom. Not enough to get into the second run. Of course, nothing changing atop the leaderboard. If you're just joining us, Madeleine Aigla looking for her 4th win of the season. The World Cup leader has a 0.15 of a second advantage over Switzerland's Natalie Mogg. Julia Tobitz in 3rd place. But as importantly, right now sitting in 20th position is Klaudia Domaradzka of Poland.
And 5 more to come now.
Right, and certainly the next one is someone that can make the move and knock Claudia out based on her results so far this year. It's the 3rd of the Canadians. Caitlin Nash, 21 years old, from Whistler. Caitlin has been in the top 20 in every race except the one that Canada didn't take part in Sigulda. So we'll see what gives here for this athlete who has been on the podium in World Cup doubles early in her career.
$14 start time. Little bump before 7 here.
This will be a key stop of the clock right now to see where she stands. 5,600s. That's just outside the top 20 at the moment. This is going to be close.
It's going to be very close, yeah.
Poland and Canada, 21st place, 92 back. That's about a 1/10 of a second, not that close, behind Klaudia Domaradzka. We've still got 4 remaining, but Claudia's probably starting to feel pretty good about her chances. either way, this will probably earn Caitlin a spot in tomorrow's mixed singles event, as she's still well out in front of Emberly Susko. Now Dr. D, Elsa Desmond, Team Ireland. She's a one-person Team Ireland World Cupper, although she mentors a young athlete in the junior ranks. 27 years old, born in England, grew up in Ireland, now lives in Iceland, emergency room doctor.
I don't know if we ever had a doctor sliding.
Well, now you know who to look for if you have a bad accident.
That is true, yeah. Good lines here.
That's the goal, to try to keep it clean, and it's pretty clean, drifting towards that right wall. 42.772 for Elsa Desmond. Her day is done, but great news this year, of course, Jonas, with these athletes that don't have any teammates, still get the opportunity to take part in mixed singles and mixed doubles.
Yeah, that is very cool. I mean, they always, when there's a team relay, the last few years they just weren't able to go, and now they have a team with a different nation. I think it's a very good idea.
Elsa will pair up, I believe, with Seiya Kobayashi tomorrow after men's singles for the mixed singles competition. And we'll hear from Elsa a little later today with the commentary of men's doubles. Now down to our final three. Again, a couple of athletes did not take part. Sandra Robacher, one-time World Cup winner, sat out of this race. Emily Sweeney of the USA in the 6th position in the World Cup standings also traveled back to North America early to rest up for the Worlds. Here's Alina Shmaha of Ukraine, a 25-year-old athlete from Lviv. Another one looking for her top 20. What do you think, Jonas? Until this season, of course, if you qualified for the World Cup, you were guaranteed 2 runs if you had a finish time. Now they cut the field. Your opinion?
My opinion is, I mean, for the nations, that is hard for them to qualify for the second run. I think it's, of course it is. Maybe it feels unfair, but also for the seeded group, or for the top, let's say top 5. I mean, the weather is getting warmer, and we have more and more races where the track is like slowing down a lot, and then it is also unfair for these athletes to always have the worst start number in the second run. And I think if you have only 20 in the second run, then it makes it a little bit more fair and more exciting for the sport to watch, I think.
Yeah, I mean, those are good points, especially on a warm day such as today. Yeah. And it's more in line with what most Winter Olympic sports do.
That is true, yeah.
All right, down to our final 2. I'm Tim Singer, along with Jonas Mueller. Jonas doing a great job, by the way, with the English language.
Yeah, that's because of my girlfriend I met in Whistler.
And she probably doesn't talk as much or as fast as I do, so it's probably tough to follow along here. Hulian Hu of China, 24 years old, from the Sichuan province. The second to last to go here in run number 1 in Oberhof.
Nice, beautiful lines here. A little bit late into 10, too high.
The second of 2 from China, nicely staying off that wall. as she enters the finishing Kreisel, one of 2 tracks in the world with a closing Kreisel, along with Segulda. 28th place for China. With 1 remaining, Claudia Domorodska sitting in 20th place. Veronica Ravenna will be the last to go from Argentina. Her best result was a 24th place this season, and she finished in 26th at the last race here in Oberhof. So not an odds-on favorite to knock Domorodska out, but we'll see. Representing Argentina, 26-year-old Veronica Ravenna. Veronica trains with the Germans. She's headed to her home track in Whistler, Canada for the World Championships in 2 weeks.
I had the chance to compete in the World Championships on my home track one time, and it's always a really nice feeling. World Championships, the biggest race of the season on your home track with your friends and family. It's always great.
2017, was that when the Innsbruck World Championships were?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It was a wolfy party.
It was a wolfy party, yeah, that's true.
Veronica having some good lines here. The speed just isn't there, and she's going to be well out of the top 20. 26th place, so that will match her finish from last month here in Oberhof, but she can pack up the gear. No, actually she can't, because Jonas, I think she's also pairing up with an athlete, with Ninnis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think Ninnis tomorrow for the men's singles from Slovakia.
I mean, Josef is a great...
He's great, yeah.
I mean, great to pair up with him. He's the most experienced guy on the team, I think.
43-year-old Josef Ninnis. He's probably had a few runs here in Oberhof.
Definitely.
So the happiest woman, perhaps other than Madeleine Egla, the run leader, is Claudia Domorodska, Poland, who just makes it into run number 2 in 20th place. Veronica will put the sled away overnight. We'll see her tomorrow as we check out the standings. It is 1,500 separating the Austrian from Team Switzerland, as Natalie Mogg will be looking for a rare podium finish on the World Cup. She's probably had 3 or 4 in her career. Julia Tobitz leading Germany 3 and 4. Schulte and Schwarz right behind them, as Germany and Austria make up 6 of the top 7 spots. Top American is Ashley Farquharson, but a great story was Sweden's Tova Koala in the top 10 ahead of all of the Latvians, which is amazing. So 1,500s, Madeleine to Natalie, and then Julia lurking not too far behind. What do you think we're going to see in run number 2, Jonas?
Yeah, I just looking at the standings here, to the 7th place, Anna Berreiter. It's only 1,700s behind Natalie, so I think we're going to have an exciting second run, and maybe we'll see some changes here in the top 7.
That's right. You don't have to ride that elevator up too high to make it onto the podium, because the standings are so tight. So run number 2 coming up in just about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. Jonas and I will be back with the call of the action, so don't go too far. It should be a great finish of women's singles from Oberhof.